Scandal after scandal after scandal. Influencers and scandals just seem to be synonymous.
Here to apologize.
I'm gonna apologize.
Making this video to apologize.
Didn't have brain cancer.
No, I didn't.
You had 3 heart operations. You suffered 2 cardiac arrests. You died twice on the operating table. You had a stroke, and you were diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumour and given 4 months to live.
Correct.
I never thought of influencers to be shady or insidious, but as I delved deeper and deeper, it became clear the world of influencers is one of the shadiest and fakest I've ever laid my eyes on.
I'm the youngest flexer of the century.
Child in this case is the product.
Save the kids' token.
I already told you guys, don't buy that shit. I got paid a bag.
6 months I've been working on my own NFT project.
We're not selling!
The concept of being a social media influencer is a fairly new one which came about while I was growing up. Before, the only people who really had any influence were people in traditional media and athletes, but social media came about and it in a way democratized influence. At the touch of a button, anyone could become famous, and the concept of an influencer was born. In theory, the idea was great. Connect and socialize with friends and family. Share your hobbies, adventures, and lifestyle. It was wholesome and hadn't become tainted, but then it did. Money became involved. Social media now allowed normal people to get a following, and brands picked up on this. Many brands were no longer tied to working with traditional styles, and now could work with people who had a better connection to their followers.
Everybody.
29 hours later, I made it to Africa.
Show them that.
The party finished at 2, then we all decided to go for a swim.
The concept of being a social media influencer was never contentious, but I think things really started to change when social media became algorithmically driven. The more attention and engagement you got, the more people there were to advertise to. So the apps, and in proxy, the algorithms optimized for this. This is where I think the whole dynamic started to change. Whatever got the most engagement was promoted. It didn't matter if you actually enjoyed what you were seeing. Only one data point mattered: engagement.
And the platform is designed to maximize engagement.
Things were becoming more braggadocious. It was wild and artificial. People were all of a sudden living these crazy lives, and people had 2 options: play the game or become irrelevant.
Oh. What the f you doing?
This is where the world started to feel a little bit more crazy and like a soap opera, where the notion of doing anything at all costs to become famous became the norm. The thing with social media is there are billions of people on it, and if you want to stand out, you have to be different from normal. This is what got the followers and the likes, but also where the problem lies. People go to any length to stand out. Guys taking substances to become these idolized versions of themselves. Girls getting procedures to match an ideal, and people advertising fake lifestyles. It became the norm. You want to get famous? Become an influencer? This is what you had to do. The platforms had created a systematic method of how to use them, and you had no option but to play the game.
It doesn't exist if it weren't for steroids.
Exists. Many of you know I've been using PDs, peptides.
Steroids are becoming some of the most popular drugs out there.
Creators like Sebastian Bales are offered free and discounted cosmetic work in exchange for social media shoutouts.
You on my new routine, an incredible lip filler, right? And I was
my surgery tomorrow.
Reality Part 3.
Plastic surgery has been booming in the past decade.
All this is really just scratching the surface. The world of influencers is a lot more faker and gamed than meets the eye. While doing research, I came across the real fakeness of it. We all know about the use of filters, Photoshop, touching up pictures to completely change how a person looks. But a whole new world opened up to me when I saw this Reddit post. The claims, while not shocking, are quite revealing. One of its claims was the notion it's pay to play on Instagram. If you have money, you can be famous, or you can fake the appearance of fame until you develop a real following. Or the concept of blue check groups, where having a blue check gets you into these groups with other people who also have blue checks. And if you don't have one, it's quite simple. You can just pay a fee to get in. The perks of being in these groups were everyone would like and save your post, and it meant the algorithm would favor the post and get it in to explore. as you have comments from blue-checked accounts. It also claimed you could pay B-list stars to promote you and act like they know you. Another Reddit post claimed people with massive followings are paying for engagement in bulk, again mentioning the concept of influencers, commenting on other people who also have large followings to game the algorithm, claiming there's a huge incentive to buy your first 10,000 followers so you can start growing your real following. After that, people will follow you because they're under the impression you're actually famous. Then there's something called the babe method, something I've noticed before and probably something you've also noticed. The method involves celebrity growing their followings by creating hundreds of Instagram accounts that repost their own photos with a link in the bio to the person's real page. All these things really shine a light on the world of influencers, with the biggest influencers known to have artificially inflated followings. When you go to these influencers' pages and scroll through their comments and followers, you do start to see some discrepancies. A few clicks on some of these accounts, you do start questioning how real they actually are. This all could be stopped. Instagram owns and runs their platform and has the power to stop all this, but they haven't. And the answer to this is quite simple. It's because of money. Inflated numbers and usage allows them to capture more advertising money, meaning fake followers and a lifestyle becomes a currency to becoming relevant on these platforms.
And the way the platforms have been designed is to maximize the engagement with the platform so that then they can maximize the advertising.
This all goes to show you how potent social proof really is. Social proof works, and it's one of the greatest marketing tricks out there. There's a great example of this in the influencer space, one that holds a lot of weight, a verification tick, a status symbol, and symbolizes that you are someone of notoriety. The thing is, if you go on Instagram, so many people have them. Some I've never even heard of or even know what they do. They just seem to have a blue tick for the sake of having a blue tick because they have followers. It makes you wonder, what's really going on here? This expose article by ProPublica shed some light on this. The article details Instagram verification could be bought and names certain figures who were selling this. This was the process. The first step, a client creates content which shows them in designer clothing, attending luxury locations, or in a recording studio to make them look like a music artist. Step 2, Spotify and Apple Music profiles are created for the client. Basic songs are uploaded and fake streams are purchased. Step 3, paid articles about the client are published to make them seem more realistic. Step 4, client posts about their lifestyle and music content and buys engagement in the form of likes, comments, and followers on Instagram. Step 5, Google's search engine indexes the client's music and articles, then automatically generates a knowledge panel that brands the person as a musical artist searched for. Step 6, the client edits their Instagram bio, feed, and highlights to emphasize their musical career. The final step, the client's Instagram account is submitted to Meta for verification. If everything goes as planned, they'll receive a blue check and the status it forwards. It's crazy, isn't it? A blue tick has become a status symbol.
Became a professional model overnight and got verified.
Got verified on Instagram?
I got verified on Instagram.
I might actually be getting verified.
I think a perfect example of what the influencer space is like is illustrated by this picture. It went viral, but all for the wrong reasons. The influencer in the picture was outed for faking that she was on a private jet. In actuality, it was just a mock set for a jet. People were obviously shocked, but not surprised about how far things had gone and the lengths people were going to fake a lifestyle. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that the social media ecosystem has so much money in it that the business of helping people fake things is a legitimate business opportunity.
$30,000 per month.
I make over 6 figures. 591,000.
Best month was probably like 480K off of AdSense.
Tyler Taylor, a YouTuber with 2.2 million followers, ran an experiment. She posted pictures on Instagram showing her enjoying a vacation in Bali, but the pictures weren't actually in Bali. They were taken at a local IKEA. It was all a ruse. The whole point of this ruse was to show how easily things can be faked on social media and how fake it actually is.
At IKEA the entire time. I hope you guys don't mind, we're doing a little photo shoot right now. And today I'm pranking my Instagram followers to see if they'll believe that I'm actually on this influencer vacation.
While the idea was just an experiment, faking a lifestyle certainly isn't. I've talked about the influencer space as a whole, but for me personally, this story really stands out in the influencer space and perfectly encapsulates what the influencer space is like. It's the story of Belle Gibson. She preached health and wellness, healthy eating, exercise, all the good stuff. But the reason she became famous was that she was living with brain cancer, which she claimed she managed through diet, exercise, and alternative therapies. The story was great. Someone who, against all odds, had forgone conventional treatment and took control of her life, documenting a miracle recovery on Instagram, and in the process, becoming a worldwide celebrity. This feel-good story was lapped up by everyone. The media, the public, everyone was enthralled. It was amazing. She was the epitome of health, all while living with cancer. The story was good. It gave hope to many people, especially those going through conventional treatments like chemotherapy, which, while effective, has devastating effects. But her journey allowed people to believe they could also become healthy through the lifestyle she preached. On the back of this success, she launched a health and wellness lifestyle app, The Whole Pantry, a massive hit. It got her invites to the Apple headquarters, book deals, and appearances in magazines. And she made the most craziest claims about what her lifestyle had done for her. In her book, she made claims how the way she lived had allowed her to keep her cancer at bay and even reverse it. All these claims weren't obviously medically backed or if she had any evidence of it. The only thing people had were her word. After all this success, Belle would reveal her prognosis had got worse, as she released a post stating, "Frustration and ache in my heart. It hurts me to find space tonight to let you all know, with love and strength, that I've been diagnosed with a 3rd and 4th cancer." But there was a problem here. Despite living with cancer, Belle didn't appear to be someone living with a terminal illness.
Person living with brain cancer, might I add, you look incredibly healthy. Tell us what your top tips, obviously it's quite holistic, your life at the moment, I imagine. What are your top tips for health?
The outcry and support for her grew after this renovation, but discrepancies were starting to appear and things weren't quite adding up. The first of which was a promise she had made to donate $300,000 to charity, something which she hadn't fulfilled.
She failed to deliver a promised $300,000 to charity.
Then, damning articles were released about her, where they claimed she was faking her cancer. Other articles also came out where they claimed she lied about her age, personal life, and history.
And she did come out and admit that she had lied about having terminal brain cancer.
The cancer survival story of young businesswoman Belle Gibson seemed too good to be true, and that's exactly how it turned out.
A brand which was built on authenticity and vulnerability was torn down in seconds. I think the most horrifying part of this story was that she had befriended a 6-year-old who was also living with cancer. Their parents claimed they talked, cried, and spent time with Belle. But it seems her intentions were not as innocent, as she just used their relationship to pass the symptoms off as her own. The truth would be revealed, however, in a 60-minute interview. You really have to watch it. It's mind-boggling. She's a pathological liar, and there's no accountability.
Didn't have brain cancer.
No, I didn't.
No.
But when I was writing that, I thought that I did, and I was feeling well. I believed that I was having radiotherapy. When he gave me medication, I was told that it was oral chemotherapy, and I believed it.
You had 3 heart operations. You suffered 2 cardiac arrests. You died twice on the operating table. You had a stroke, and you were diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumour and given 4 months to live. Anyway, the procedure failed and I died.
See, I haven't read back through all of that. Lived for years with the fear that I was dying, and that is horrible. 2 birth certificates, and I've had my name changed 4 times.
Her case, while definitely out there, gives a glimpse into the influencer space and what can happen when their lure of attention and fame goes too far.
Belle Gibson has made a mockery of the court, refusing to pay a $410,000 fine.
May cancer conwoman Belle Gibson pay her $500,000 fine for her deception. It's taken a new turn. Neighbours say Miss Gibson was left in tears today when authorities raided her home.
In Melbourne, Australia, our diaspora community, Oromo community of Australia, met to discuss the current situation of Ethiopia.
The world of influencers is already shady, but here's where I think it starts getting a bit murky. While researching, I came across the concept of kids being influencers. Now, when I saw this, my initial thoughts were something quite innocent and novel. But as I dug deeper and deeper, it was quite the opposite, and something that really needs to be covered.
I believe that we are doing the best that we think we can do for them.
They can have followers in the hundreds of thousands or millions, and they could be making 200 grand or more a year.
They get like 5,000 likes a minute.
I wanted to view this in a positive light, but nothing here paints it like that. A good example is Lil Tay.
Let me tell y'all something. Broke ass haters hating on me.
Her rapper-esque lifestyle contrasted her age and braggadocious demeanor and brought a lot of attention, showing how rich she was and how insane her lifestyle was, despite only being 9 years old.
You don't know about Lil Tay?
But my house is way bigger than yours.
Okay. Is a 9-year-old girl who is famous now on the internet for talking shit and showing all the money she has.
Longest flex of the century, and I'm only 9 years old. Toilet costs more to your rent. Run this beat. When I was 6 years old, I lived in Atlanta, and I was broke as hell. Started working hard, moving bricks, and now we be living in the hills. See that view?
How many cars do you have now?
A little over 10.
Wow.
A little over 10. And how many houses?
I mean, why are you even surprised? I'm the youngest flexer of the century.
How'd you make all your money?
Yeah, where'd it come from?
I have a motivational speaking business, and I sell exotic cars.
Her life wasn't obviously like that, but the spectacle is what caught everyone's attention. She made rap songs, hung out with older celebrities and influencers. Even though it was a ruse, the entertainment is what kept her going, and this video would effectively put an end to it all.
Tay's big brother, who's like 16 years old, is the one that is controlling her and telling her what to say.
No, you broke ass. You still, you out here.
Mommy, stop! I was filming! No one's forcing me to do this. That's not true that she wants to make money off of me.
Lil Tay's story really just scratches the surface. There's real kid influencers, and not like Lil Tay, like kids who influence other kids. When you hear this concept, it sounds a bit weird, but it's real.
Popularity of so-called kid influencers is promote products on Instagram and make millions posting short video blogs.
Well, there's a growing army of small fry fashionistas out there with millions of Instagram followers among them. They're known as Insta-Kids, and they're having a sweeping impact on the fabric of social media.
My introduction to all this was when I saw this clip of these two twins who were in a shoot, and the grandmother just breaks down as she's watching her grandchildren posing for these photos.
They're little girls. I want them to stay like that.
It's heartbreaking to see kids who are forced to be adults, and they're not the only ones. This space is massive, and it's surreal.
$22 million in just 12 months, people.
Influencers, you get to do really, really cool things. They walk around.
I know. Hold on. 1 in 3 American kids between the ages of 8 and 12 aspire to be either a vlogger or a YouTuber.
These kids are forced to grow up in a world where every blemish is scrutinized, where they're exposed to a big audience and receive an amount of attention they're probably not ready to handle. I can't even begin to think about the long-term damage to the kids, and don't think it's a healthy environment for a kid to be brought up in. A common pattern I observed with their parents. They were blinded by the incentive of financial gain, which would allow them to improve their family income and lifestyle. A lot of them claim if their kid didn't want to do this anymore, they would put a stop to it all, but I'm not too sure.
Last month, we had 3 or 4 brand deals that totaled over $150,000.
Before we became full-time influencers, Justin and I were making about $250 a year combined. Now I would say we're probably double that.
My girls are in a picture, they're in a picture, and that qualifies as work. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, who gets to decide those things?
We still had to set up, like bring them to the spot for it, come up with the picture, spot, talk to the brand to get the deal, negotiate the deal.
My goal in life is to become as famous as possible, right? I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to become as famous as possible because we make more money.
The effects of this type of attention on kids has been seen before. Child actors from the past who were once famous either shed the limelight or grew up in the public eye, which would lead to problems further down the line for them. This is what led to laws in America being written for child actors, protect them and their future earnings. The same is not applicable to kid influencers. The thing is, these clips will be on the internet forever, and their identity becomes wrapped around this persona they've built, which they will probably outgrow, and it denies the child the autonomy to craft their own digital footprint.
And it's really concerning because anytime you have a family business, look, the child in this case is the product, right?
Yes, that's right.
When does it end? It's a 24/7 job. And I'm concerned about where do parents who have to gain financially from this, how do they set the rules?
Now, it's undeniable. Advertising to kids is a big business. There's a lot of money to be made in that sector. Channels such as Ryan's Toys and others make millions of unboxing toys. They create a relationship with kids who watch them. To the kid, they're just a friend. They're not someone who's advertising a product to them. That's the sad reality of being a kid influencer, is you're trying to sell products to people who see you as a friend.
Save the Kids token. My own NFT project. This is a shit coin I believe in.
My NFT project.
You guys should look into making your own crypto.
What really influenced me to make this video was how crypto had infiltrated the influencer space. Crypto was everywhere. And in the midst of a massive bull run, there was a lot of money to be made, and influencers were the perfect billboard. And let me tell you, it was a complete mess. Hype became the thing needed for a coin to do well. Project after project being promoted by influencers with ridiculous amounts being thrown around. Kim Kardashian, Jake Paul, everyone and anyone was involved.
MILF token shit I did a while back, I already told you guys don't buy that shit. I got paid a bag to do that shit.
My ownership in Tits Coin just bought me this beautiful Rolls Royce.
Finally made my first crypto investment, and it is called Tits.
This is a shit coin I believe in. It's my favorite one, to be honest.
I think that it's getting absurd. Like the amount of people that have hit me up to pump these shit coins and the amount of people that I see doing it on Twitter.
People on Instagram promoting these stupid ass coins because they're getting paid or they got given a bunch of coins. People are just like, just tweet about it a bunch of times and it'll go up in value and you can just sell it all.
My own customized Bored Bad Bunny NFT. They made this just for me with the boxing gloves, all this detail. And y'all could go check out their Discord and be a part
Some weren't just promoting them. Some made their own coins and then would go and promote them to their own fans, only to dump it on them shortly after. One that really stands out is Save the Kids. The coin's premise was simple. A percentage of the coin's transactions would go to charity, helping provide children with food. The influencers who were involved were hyping up this coin massively.
Save the Kids token.
Save the Kids token.
Save the Kids token.
Save the Kids token. Save the Kids token.
But once the coin was released, most of them dumped it on their fans.
This charity coin, right before launch, the price pumped. They got out. They deleted their tweets suddenly out of nowhere.
This coin has come out. It has not shown any sign of coming back. It is a dead coin. It has went from 1 penny to 0.001 penny. A tenth of the penny at this point. The value is gone. This is a dead coin, all right?
The story here is even worse than it initially seems. When you dig a little deeper, you find out the coin was just a rip-off for another charity. The branding, the logo, and the name were all eerily similar. They basically tried to play off the good name of another charity for social proof. I just don't know what they were thinking. Like, how did they think they could get away with that?
FaZe Clan has now suspended 3 members and removed 1 more following alleged schemes in a cryptocurrency scam.
Just on charity. That's the grossest part of the whole thing.
Last thing I posted was a script. It was actually made for me by lawyers. Shouldn't try to harm, take advantage, or scam anybody.
Their logo matched the Save the Children logo, which is like an actual charity that, and almost immediately the project rugged. They stole the money. And it turned out that some of the influencers had not only sold that and made money, but also had a pattern of pump and dumping tokens.
Logan Paul is another one who stands out. He rode the crypto NFT wave, releasing his own projects, but his case was different. He's one of the biggest influencers and was on a redemption arc after what happened. His brother was also promoting coin after coin, but that was expected. But Logan was different. Logan had changed. Then Cryptozoo happened.
Today we're investigating Logan Pauls Cryptozoo, a blockchain game that made millions but never worked.
Cryptozoo scam.
There we go, there it is. Not much in here.
Fizilla shine light on his scamming ways when it came to his Cryptozoo project.
Fun blockchain game that earns you money. He did nothing and the project was left abandoned.
I lost around $50,000 in Cryptozoo.
I lost $40,000.
$500,000 Australian.
This felt like the final straw. People had become fed up with influencers. Logan had been given another chance, and he threw it right back at the people who had given it to him.
In this video today, I'm going to be defending myself with facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation, and I mean that.
It's entitled Thank You CoffeeZilla. It's the third response from Logan Paul, and it's a pretty big change in Logan's attitude so far.
This was a really big turning point for the influencer space. It made everyone stand up and take notice. Influencers were promoting coins left, right and center for a quick buck, and people noticed, and it left a sour taste, especially after the crypto crash.
Promoted the same way, $10,000.
The scamming doesn't stop.
We are launching a brand new digital currency.
First crypto investment.
Offered millions of dollars straight up.
I paid a bag to do that shit.
Is charging Kim Kardashian for her post on Instagram last year that endorsed a crypto assets.
In the end, what's the point of this video? Is it to name and shame people? Partially, but more so is to bring attention to the fakeness of the influencer world. The perfect body, lifestyle, nice house, these are qualities that are looked up to and have perpetuated through society. Normal people are going broke to look rich, trying to emulate influencers who themselves aren't rich. All this to display a sense of status and exclusivity. I remember when the scandal about Facebook, or now known as Meta, was made public, where they knew the effects Instagram was having on teenagers, but didn't do anything about it. And it really makes you think, doesn't it, that they knew the effects of how Instagram was being used and didn't do anything about it because they knew if they did, they would lose their main user base.
Instagram can harm the mental health of millions of young users.
The actions and the information they were hiding from the public was hurting people.
Begin to consume this eating disorder content, they get more and more depressed, and it actually makes them use the app more.
The story at the moment of how young children are getting access to self-harm material, and that it's propagating the challenges that they're facing day to day, and then they kind of get caught in this system and this algorithm that the more you look at something, the more it shows you, so you get drawn down a certain path.
The main point of this video is to help people see the bigger picture. Yes, social media is a big part of our lives, but it's not real life. It's a single screenshot or the best bits of a person's life edited together, because real life doesn't sell. We don't get behind the scenes access to the diet, body dysmorphia, and mundane bits. This can be explained by the term hyperreality, where our consciousness is unable to distinguish reality from a simulation of reality, as our brains haven't evolved to handle information in this form, and we're seeing the results of that. When you're on social media, you can always be fitter, skinnier, bigger, stronger, more muscular, and this logic can just turn into madness. You see these people on your phone and you think, they look like that, I don't. They're there, I'm not. They live in this lifestyle, I'm not. It's a 24/7 comparison machine where you compare your whole 24 hours to someone's highlight reel.
Is really a true reflection of that individual's life. You know, don't let yourself get jealous because someone posted photos of going on. Don't just assume that their profile is a true reflection of their own life. They're curating their own image online and showing only the positives, so it doesn't mean that your life is worse.
One thing that surprised me when researching this video was the concept of Instagram face. It's this concept of a sanitized, all-performing face, which has been perpetuated through Instagram, where people are going to surgeons and showing pictures of Instagram influencers wanting procedures so they can look like that. I'm gonna show these pages and subreddits, but I'm only showing it because I want to put into perspective how fake Instagram and the influencer space can be. It shows the discrepancies in these influencers' pictures and how curated all of it is. And it reveals how these influencers really look like in reality compared to the Instagram. I'm not showing this to propagate hate, but it's more so to give you a realistic idea of what the reality around these influencers is. The idealization of a perfect lifestyle is toxic and dangerous. Please remember, marketing works by targeting pain points. That's how products are sold. These influencers play on that, promoting an idealized version of their lifestyle to sell things they're sponsored by. Social media is an undeniable part of our lives and something that's here to stay, but question what you see on these apps and have a healthy dose of pessimism around it. Is this really something that's comparable to real life? Is it really attainable?
That's also a big reason why I stopped using these platforms. They weren't providing anything useful to me anymore. I didn't feel like I was getting anything that was contributing to my life in a positive way.
I personally don't use social media a lot. Its main function for me is to communicate and connect with friends and family, and I limit my time on social media because I know the rabbit hole it can lead to if you spend too much time on it. That influencer you follow isn't your friend. They're just a real life billboard who's trying to sell something to you. So, do you really need to follow that influencer?